for like a whole month without even like checking in, which is crazy if you think about it, because we did all this work and we had 2/3 of the movie done, and if we had played it for him and he said, I really don't like a lot of this, then we would have been back to square zero. We would waste like a whole month, and we only had 3 months to do it. So yeah, it was more about like, it was like, the thing I learned there was that I told somebody that it's almost like if you were practicing something like athletic, say like, you know, an exercise, or like swinging a golf club or whatever. You're with a trainer, and they're like, every motion you make, they're like, no, gotta bend your elbow, no, stand different. It's like, it stops you, and you start to freeze, and you're like, can't do what you're trying to do. And if they just let you go at it a little bit, and then give you a little help, and then let you practice, and give you a little help, and let you kick back, it's like, if they have that more laid back attitude, then I was finding that we get further faster, and we get better results faster. So when I went back in the studio with the guys like a few months ago, I said, you know, this is what I want to do. I want to apply this, and we're not going to like, we usually get together like once a week to criticize stuff, to like critique stuff, and it ends up being criticizing. And we ended up, like, instead of getting together to do that, we got together to just work. Like, there wasn't like, I don't like this, so it was more like, no, we're just going to come and we're going to add. We're just going to keep going. And that was just like, as far as morale and especially for me, like I really enjoyed being able to get further on something before second guessing it or before questioning where we were at, because I feel like sometimes, like, you know, a few days of work on something you don't realize how good it's going to get in a few more days, right? Yeah, so
that's really interesting.
I'd love to just...
Yeah, I think right before, see, what can you tell us about the new album? Or the next album?
It's coming this year. We're working on it right now, and I'm excited about it. Rick is producing, Rick and I are producing again. And what do you want to know?
What do you guys want to know?
Everything.
We don't know. I mean, it's like roughly saying like late summer, early fall. So that's the best we can say right now, because it's not done. So if we run into any major speed bumps, it could be slightly later. But I feel good about it. We've got a lot of material already. What else?
Can you elaborate on the sound? Because I read an article today about what Chester talking about it.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit
on the record?
Yeah, the record. Talking about kind of has like a hybrid theory guitar feel, but it also has like
that was Kerrang that said that.
Right.
And if you read Chester's part, he specifically says, like, it's not metal, and it's got an energy of like. Here's the bottom line. The Kerrang put a bunch of words in his mouth, and they put a little pie chart, which I thought was funny, because they put something about like choruses as big as a dinosaur on steroids or something. And I thought that was just so. They're hilarious because they're so about that. But the thing, I think the thing that I hear on it is like the band being like comfortable in their own skin, and I know he said that too. Like that's what it's really about. It's like I think for a couple of records we've been really interested in just going like trying out new things, like just trying out new things. Other stuff falls into that, like you pull from your toolbox to get there, right? But we were most excited about making different sounds, and I think that at this particular moment, the guys were feeling like, you know, not scared. It's almost like I felt like when I got to college and I knew who I was. First, at some point, like you just kind of like figure it out, and there was a point that we all just kind of looked at each other and said, okay, like we're not scared of using the whole like toolbox now. And it's not, don't mistake that for me saying like formula either. It's not formulaic at all. It's like we know certain things work in certain situations in a song when you're writing, and to intentionally like not use those tools is kind of, you know, we were seeing that at that point as like being not where we're at. It's kind of like we want to be able to do whatever. So it's like new and old all together at once is the best way I could tell you. Yeah.
Going back to the scoring, are you thinking about doing another movie or any other projects if time allows you?
Yeah. I'm excited about it. It's just a matter, you know, it's like we're going to be busy this year with the band. If anything's come up that work into the schedule and I can kind of do them, I don't know why I do this myself, like doing the piling all this stuff on, but if it works out and it seems reasonable, then then I'll probably do some more stuff. I don't think, by the way, that I don't think it would be another like action thing, just because, it's like after having done this, I think I want to stretch out in a different direction.
What genre?
What genre? I'm a big fan of the more like, I don't know, kind of like a cerebral kind of thriller thing. I love like Christopher Nolan. I love, what are some of my favorite movies? I love Seven. I love Shining. The dark stuff, but stuff with some like there's some meat to it. You know what I mean? It's not just about like this movie. One thing I did like about this is that there was like there's some story in there, and it's not the violence and the like gross out factor is secondary to the actual fighting. Like you can tell that he's actually really into the fighting aspect, and then the blood comes secondary to that. Not just like I'm putting something on the screen to just gross you out and get the shock value, and that's number one. That I'm not so into that.
That was like number 3.
What made you decide not to sing or rap on the soundtrack?
It's complicated, but yeah, the only voices you'll hear on it. There's 2. So we put the sound. By the way, in case you guys didn't already know, we put that out. Was that today? Was that out today?
Today.
It's the raid soundtrack.com. Is where you can get. That's the only place you can get the physical album. You can get the digital there as well.
And iTunes.
And it's on iTunes and stuff. Yeah. The only songs. I just a score is a score. Like there's that's why we've been calling a score. In fact, we also got the raid score.com. I feel like this is a score. It's not a collection of beats and tracks that they just mashed up into the movie. I really wanted to approach it from a more traditional. Even though the music is very non-traditional, I wanted to approach it in a more traditional way. So I think clearly adding vocals and stuff like that over top of some of this stuff would be really distracting, I think. Somewhere in the back.
Yeah.
Hi, in the middle.
You mentioned that this is not an American movie, and Sony's already planning to do a remake of this
That's
as
right.
an American movie. Can you imagine doing this score for the American version?
Only if they would use, only if we could build off of this one. I'd hate to start from scratch and try and do it over. I think I'd end up either doing the same thing or just tearing my hair out. So, yeah, I guess that's where I'd be at on it. The one thing that's exciting about the remake, when I first heard they were doing the remake, I was kind of bummed out. But the great news is that they're actually involved with, or Gareth, the director of this one, is involved in that one. He's not directing it, but he's in a more of an executive producer role. And the lead actor and Mad Dog, their real names are Iko and Yayan. Those guys choreographed this movie with Gareth. Really interesting story. They actually did months of choreography. They did what they call video storyboards. So he would literally sit there with his little camera, handheld camera, and shoot all the scenes, do all the shots with them, shot by shot, on his little camera. And then when they got out of the whole crew and they got the good, the pro equipment together, they redid all the shots and they replaced shot by shot all of the. So they already had the movie half made in a sense before they even started making the movie, right? So that attention to detail impressed me, and I know that since they're involved in the choreography on the remake, that part is promising.